unidentified flying object.
I'm Jack Oswald, and you're listening.
This is Hudson Hammond, and you're listening to...
I'm Richard C. Hoagland, and you're listening to...
I'm Art Bell, and you're listening to Dr. J Radio Live.
We have an unidentified flying object.
Welcome back to another great episode of Dr. J Radio Live during the LNM Late Night, the Midland Spookathon, as we are broadcasting not normally on the Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, but Monday morning, 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern, also 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Pacific on a Sunday night or Monday morning if you're considered Eastern time. And for those of you in the UK, that is 7 a.m. GMT. Now, in light of it being the Spookathon, I had to think of who was the scariest story I've heard in 6.5 years of programming, from working for Third Phase Moon to 5.5 years ago when I started hosting my own shows. And I've heard a lot of scary stories, whether they're from alien abductions or ghosts or demons. But when Katy Neely, the station manager with her husband Daryl, also the programmers, the audio engineers of the show, said, if you can find something that's Halloween themed and something scary, only one name came to mind out of hundreds. And this is someone you just heard on the regular show this past Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And that is Mr. Keith Linder of the Bothell Hell House. Also, you could see the website Demons in Seattle. I sort of interchange the two, or when I post about him, I write Keith Linder of Bothell Hell House / Demons in Seattle. When you hear the nitty-gritty of what happened to this poor man and is still happening, I think you too will be literally scared. Your socks will be scared off. And I'm happy to say that Grant Wilson, who was on this past week, I was able to successfully pass on the UK paranormal report, which is in very, very detailed, that Mr. Linder was able to pass on to me. So without further ado, let me bring on the man of the hour, the guest of 2 hours for that matter. Mr. Keith Linder, welcome back, my friend.
Hey, feels sort of like deja vu. Feels good to be back almost a week from the day. How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, almost a week to the day, and that will literally be the case in 20 hours. That's right. Not even that. That would be 7 hours ago. So 17 hours, it'll be a week. And you're right. It does feel like deja vu. The difference is going into this one, I have that fresh in my head, that whole interview. And don't get me wrong. I do so many interviews that there's pieces that I will forget from some, but the details of your case are impossible to forget. I close my eyes and I picture Bibles burning. I picture, is a couch going to be thrown at me? Is a plant going to be thrown at me? Little things like that, which literally have this working out in a very, very scary fashion. So for those people out there who don't really know, we're going to start, I guess, from the beginning, because when we get to when things really started to happen and when poor Keith was being targeted, then you're going to realize why I say this is the scariest case. So I'll give the quick rundown and then fill me in after here. You were originally from Texas. You had moved up to Seattle and you'd been there for some time working in IT. You and your girlfriend were looking for a place to live. You found a place that was recently built, I believe you said the year 2005 in Seattle. And so you looked at it just like other people would see a new house that looks beautiful, and you fell in love. You move in, and what is the first thing that happens, which I know, but I want to let you answer.
We the May 1st, actually, day one, we got to the house, me and Tina, to get the keys, sign the papers, and shake hands with the homeowner. And then he leaves. He skedaddles out of there. And like most people, when you get into a house that's virtually empty, the first thing you do is sit down on the floor. There's no furniture, and just start looking everywhere. Start taking inventory of what's going to go here, what's going to go there, whose room is what. And during the middle of our conversation, about maybe an hour in, we hear a kid cough. And the kid cough was fairly loud, sounded like it came from one of the rooms upstairs. Now, note, me and Tina don't have children. There's nobody with us. It's only me and her. The house is empty. There's not even electricity running at the moment. So we hear a kid cough, sounded like it came from one of the rooms upstairs. Tina looks at me, I look at her, and we sort of said it at the same time. Was that a kid cough? Did we hear that? And we sort of, survey around us, but we shrug it off and say, no, that couldn't have been a kid cough. I mean, all the windows are closed. It's only you and me here. That had to have come from outside. And we disavowed it. I mean, we just shrugged it off and resumed our conversation. Fast forwarded to about 2 weeks in. Now we're moving. We're bringing in boxes in, whatnot. And we started to notice things are missing. The first thing that I noticed that belonged to me that was missing was my extra set of car keys. I keep these car keys in a glove box. I sort of hand walked it over, if you will, meaning I put it in my passenger seat and drove it from my other apartment to this house. I have other items in this glove box, and I was going to retrieve another item, and that's how I noticed my keys were gone. A few days after that, Tina starts asking me, have I seen her jewelry? She's starting to notice that she's only having one jewelry, like one earring and mismatch and whatnot. And I'm like, no, I haven't seen anything. But we're just moving in. So items missing tend to go missing during a move. Things fall, things get lost. Things usually reappear. Unfortunately for us, the things that were appearing were items that didn't belong to us. We started seeing or finding kid toys displayed openly, matter of fact. Kid toys, when we wake up in the morning, you'll find kid toys on the coffee table, kitchen counter, staircase, always in easy to spot places, almost in your walk, in the time period that we're living in, like 2012. But we didn't take that anywhere. We shrugged it off. It just seemed weird. What do you do with that when you're just new house occupants and you know nothing about the paranormal? You just sort of shrug it off. While at the same time, I'm thinking, is this some sort of prank? Do we have somebody coming in the house while we're gone? Is this a landlord's welcome to the neighborhood type spill? But finally, and I mean finally, I guess the spirits got bored with me and Tina's dismissiveness, because we're watching TV, and now we're 2 months in. We're now 2 months into the home, and we're watching TV, me and Tina, side by side on the couch. And she has this 4-foot tall plant. I think it's an ivory plant, and it's standing right next to the entertainment center. And I swear to God, out of the blue, this plant just shoots up in the air about a foot off the ground, does a 360-degree spin. I mean, it spins. It's spinning. And then falls back to the ground and falls over. It doesn't land like it was. It falls over towards the direction of us. Our eyes are open. Our mouths drop. Me and Tina look at each other and ask each other, did that just happen? Did we just see that? And we're 50-50 in our response, because we literally ran to the plant versus running out the house, like some people say we should have done. But we run to the plant and we're looking for wire, remote control device. We thought it was a prank. We thought it was a joke. This is a joke.
Toy or something, right? A kid.
Yeah, it's a toy. It's Tina's plant. I don't know how they turned it into a toy, but
yeah.
Okay, yeah. We're obviously, I guess we're on candid camera. We're being, watched, and somebody's about to come out of a closet and say, "Ha ha, I got you," and hand us a lot of money. No, that doesn't happen. That's only in the movies. But
yeah.
Would have been nice. But anyways, finally we came to the conclusion, because now, I think it was either me or Tina, I forgot who said it first. That's what the kid cough was about. Aha! I think we have a ghost living with us. I think we have a kid ghost living with us, just to bring the point home even more. And we weren't scared. We weren't frightened. Me and Tina sort of like, felt that's weird. Don't know what to do with that. Being 2 months in, let's go to the internet and see what do you do. I mean, you get a rat infestation, you get an infestation, da-da-da-da-da. I know a lot of times before I call the pest control guy or the repairman, I go to Google, I look up stuff, try to save a few bucks. But we went to the internet to look up how do you deal with ghost, or what you think to be a kid spirit. And the advice was all the same, is you talk to it nicely, you be gingerly towards it, you ask it what it wants, why it's here, and you try to guide it into the light. You tell it to go into the light. You don't raise your voice, you don't challenge it, you don't say, get the hell out of my house. The kid is probably confused, is probably lost, and for whatever reason we may never know, found this house interesting. So we tried all that, and honestly, the more we tried, the more things got worse.
Now, let me ask you a question. I'm looking at your report right now, and I see it says July 2012 is the flower pot gets thrown. That's the one you're talking about, Tina's large flower, right?
That's not the entertainment plot. That's not the entertainment plant right there.
Okay. So let me look, see if I could find in the report in November. No, is it a little close to that? Let's see. There's a second blessing in August.
Yeah, they probably, if I know Steve, he probably didn't put the first plant in the report. He only puts in the report what I gave him. The plant that you're referring to, the entertainment one, is in the Bothell Hell House. It's in that book. What you're seeing are the pottery on the kitchen floor. I think there's several pictures that show broken up pottery, Tina's, dirt, foliage, leaves, because, like I said, a few days after the plant by the entertainment center shot up in the air, all the other plants in the house started flying. And let me paint this picture for you and your listeners. How that works is Tina got real live plants spread throughout the house. She's decorating. She's putting plants in corners. She's got them all spread out through the house. We're having dinner, me and Tina. We're talking about her day, my day, and all of a sudden you hear a boom. You're like, the first time you hear, you're like, what was that? Or you hear a crash, and you respond to the direction that the crash came from, and that's what you see on the floor right there. You see broken up pottery. Now, mind you, that plant was probably resting 5, 12, 20 feet somewhere else. Okay? So that started happening probably every day for a few weeks. Then we're watching TV on the couch again or having dinner, and occasionally the plants would just start flying right in front of our eyes. I mean,
in the report, I see a lot of pictures of broken plants. So I mean, these is just a handful of them. If this was happening so regularly, but and obviously, I'm assuming these are pictures that they took, or were they pictures you took and they just incorporated in the report?
Yeah, these are pictures that I took. This is 2012. Steve and Dawn didn't come till almost 4 years later. These are the photos that I'm sending them in the UK. 2015 to let them know that, hey, I have a problem. They're the SPR of the SEP, and I'm sending him all these photos. I'm sending him my diary, my emails, my correspondence to other people, and he's writing back asking questions about the plants like you see in the report. So yeah, the plants you see, those are from 2012. And they're all the Tina's plants. Tina must have lost, I would say, about 8 plants due to them being thrown. A couple times you put them back in their dirt and their pottery, and you put them back where they came from, but they just kept being thrown so much that they just finally died. It became a time period in the home where we didn't have any plants anymore. It was just too dangerous. The plants were dying, and we stopped buying more plants because they were just being food for the geist to throw.
Now, this is going to come up later when we talk about shadow creatures, but I don't want to lose this thought because I thought it'd be really important. And to say this on air, Keith, I think you might appreciate when I was talking to Grant Wilson about your case before we went on air, and obviously during the show, he was talking about what he's done during Ghost Adventures. Well, he said that one of the things he's asked several ghosts and has gotten a very consistent answer is, how do we humans look like to you? And you'll never get what the answer. You'll never guess what the answer was.
Oh man, that's a good question. I never thought to ask that to them. How do I look to them? What's the answer? What do they tell them?
Shadows. Shadows. Think about that, because I've seen some of the pictures and some of your videos on your YouTube channel. That's what you saw. So when we get to that, we'll both keep that in our perspective to wonder, just to go over that. Now, so what month are we at right now? Because I'm following along with the report. And for all of you listening, I have tweeted the report. I've also tagged Katy at L&M Official and also tagged Keith out there. So everybody who wants to follow along and see this very, very detailed report, actually see pictures of things that have happened, I highly suggest you go to the Twitter feed and get that report. It's just a website, and like I said, it's very fascinating. So back to my question, if you were just to guesstimate now which month, so I can keep following with the report, where would you say we are? September, October, November of 2012?
Well, yeah, we're summer 2012.
Okay.
If you look, I don't know what page it is on. I'm kind of got the report open on my computer, but there's an Excel spreadsheet timeline. They got a whole bunch of red arrows pointing here and there.
That's where I'm at, Randy. Yeah.
That's what I provided Steve and Don. That's me keeping record keeping during the year this stuff is happening. So if you look in 2012, you'll see July, August, September. Notice the shade. You see the shade I got on the months? Yes. The shades represent the level of activity. So you see in May
was pretty severe then.
Yeah, September was pretty severe. Yeah. This is 2012. July, you see the first Bible goes missing.
Yeah.
You see the apparition that I see in August. You see that's the gray lady.
That's the gray lady, because when we get further down is when you saw the white lady. Or the
white lady will come 2 years later. I didn't see her until 2016. Yeah.
Okay.
So as you see underneath these shades, what I've typed in these cells is, I guess, the greatest hits for that month, if you will.
Yeah, like the iron board in September, or in July, August.
Yeah.
First floor ceiling, loud bangs, wake up, find cabinet doors left open, things like that. And then underneath you have other detailed stuff. ADT security system installed, bedroom door moves on its own, first sage event, Bible goes missing, as you mentioned, female entity turns off light switch. Was the female entity the gray lady?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay, and she turned off the light switch.
She turned off the light switch.
Like physically actually touched it is what you saw, or just assume that she passed by it and it went off?
Well, remember, that's me in the office, and you hear that. I hear a click. Lights go off, and she takes off running. I turn toward the direction of the door, and there's a woman standing there. And we make eye contact. I was hoping and expecting, just by instinct, that it was Tina. I thought Tina was playing a joke on me. So I turned toward the direction of the door and said, "Ha ha, very funny, Tina. Stop doing that." But behold, that's not Tina. It's a gray lady, and she takes off running around the hallway. I get up from my office chair and give chase. I don't know what I'm chasing. I'm thinking my eyes are acting weird. That's Tina. But I give chase, and by chase I mean I just walked out of my office and walked into the hallway and turn the corner. She's gone. The gray lady is gone. And then I go back walk into our bedroom, and Tina's taking a bubble bath. She's far away from my room. She's been taking a bath for a while. She told me when she was going to do that about an hour ago. I tell her what I saw, and I can't believe what I saw, because what I saw was full body. There was no transparent, translucent, see-through. It was not even illuminating. There was no shine or gloss. It was just matte colored, dull gray. You could still make her out pretty well. She had, she was a woman. She was a feat. She was about 5'6", no more. No, must have weighed 120 pounds or less. I'll put her at 117. She was petite. Looked like she had a dress on, shoulder length hair. She looked troubled, worried, confused, and mischievous, all rolled into one.
Now, later on, when we got to the second one, and then when we get some more history on the house, we'll revisit this lady because I know she's relevant, especially the fact that she comes back. Now, So this lady comes, and I'm trying to follow along with what month we are now. Let's see here. So footsteps, rapping, bangs, light goes off on in the hallway, bedroom door slams. Where am I looking at this moment for her? Is it beyond 2012? Or is it still 2012?
Looks like you're.
Here it is.
November.
Here it is. August. Female entity turns off light switch. That's where we were. So now we're in September, where the elevated activity happens. The iron board gets thrown twice.
Yep. The second Bible gets thrown off the bookshelf. The things underneath it are the constants that you see. If it's in a gray box, that means that was the greatest hits of the greatest hits. The iron board gets thrown multiple times. Bibles, candles all get thrown in the hallway. And then underneath that are just constants of footsteps, bedroom doors slammed. That happened a lot. Bedroom door moves on its own. Once again, we're still experiencing items missing, items appearing, and we're still experiencing the loud bangs.
Now, I also see the dent on the floor. Was that dent somewhere near where something fell, or did it just appear and nothing caused it other than the ghost?
No, that was a good question. That dent is in the doorway of the master bedroom. What had happened was, for the 4 months prior to that dent, we've been hearing constant loud banging. I mean, we're downstairs. Tina's downstairs. Sometimes I'm in my office, and we could be in different parts of the house. And some nights you can almost set your watch to it. Bang, bang, bang. It comes in, it's 3 bangs. It comes in sets of 3. And you walk out of your room trying to locate where this bang is coming from. It always seems to be coming from everywhere. Well, this night, one particular night, I was probably walking in our bedroom or out of our bedroom, and my foot went into that groove in the floor. That groove is right in our doorway. I called Tina because it's a significant groove in the doorway, and this groove was not here when we moved in. I mean, we've been in the house going on it's October now, or whatever, and this groove is in the floor, and we must have traversed this doorway hundreds, if not thousands of times already. And I did an experiment because I was like, you know what? The way this groove feels, it feels like somebody stomped it here. It feels like if you stomp hard enough, I don't know what they call that stuff underneath your carpet, but if you stomp hard enough, you might be able to get a groove like this. So I duplicated that elsewhere near the groove, and when I stomped my foot, I got a similar bang, a similar thunder of the house like we've been hearing for the last few months. I think that groove in our doorway is a product of the loud bangs we've been hearing for the last 4 to 5 months.
That's pretty scary that they were, and this was on the outside of your master bedroom door, right?
This is the doorway. This is like doorway.
In the doorway. I see.
In the doorway, yeah.
Now let's jump to November. Oh, one more thing in October. It says researching on the house. I'm assuming, is that when you beginning, or were you just doing some internet searching to find out the history of it, sort of?
Yeah, I'm calling the Bothell City Hall. I'm Googling. I'm trying to find if anybody died in the house. The answer is no. It's just generic researching.
So I see here November, and the color's yellow, so it's not nearly as severe as October, or the severest so far, September of 2012. It starts to subside, and I even see the next box in December where it's almost as if there's no activity, which is sort of what you say here. The Bible's still missing. The missing items never come back. Activity subsides. The footsteps outside, I'm assuming outside your bedroom door, outside your hallway, outside the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah, everything subsides. As you can see, the color is back to green.
Yes.
And everything's lessening. In December, there's nothing. Nada.
Now, let me jump to the next thing I see here. Let me see if I can get to, okay, now we're on 2013. So January, you're yellow, Bible still missing, car keys missing, Bible still missing, car keys missing. So then it really, in April, items still missing and appearing, but your fire alarm goes off and on. No fire.
Yeah, that happened in the middle of the night. Me and Tina were sleeping. It was 2013. And as you can see, the house is relatively way different than it was in 2012. The reason why I noted everything is still missing because all the websites that we were going to, most of them, not all of them, but most of them were saying when the activity lessens or dissipates, your items should reappear. And none of our items have never reappeared, even to this day. And the items are still missing. I don't know where they're at, but they've never reappeared. So I'm making a mental note to let myself know. And me and Tina had this debate a lot of I said something was still there. She said, hey, let's just let bygones be bygones and try to forget about it all. And me, in the back of my mind, I was like, well, I still got that feeling of us being watched and monitored. So I kept this log updated. And yeah, in April, the fire alarm woke us up in the middle of the night. We dart downstairs because we hear the fire alarms ringing. We're thinking, oh, the fire's kitchen, the house is burning. Nothing. The fire alarm stopped, or we stopped it, and that was it. There was no, but it was weird how that all went down. So I just made a mental note of it saying, okay, because knowing what I know now, I've seen these spirits get me and Tina up in a roar over just the smallest things. I mean, when you hear fire at 3 a.m. in the morning, you're in terror. It's terror.
Of course. Yeah, especially because you're thinking that the house is on fire and you're living upstairs. And what if downstairs is on fire? And what are you going to do?
Yeah, get out. There's a fire. Oh, my God, we left something on. The house is burning. Okay, we got to get out. Run. And then you get to downstairs, and it's like, oh, there's nothing. Oh. So all that anxiety, all that heart racing, beating, I know why the spirits do that. So I made a mental note of it, and as you can see, that probably was the only unsolved mystery of 2013.
Now, I also see, okay, so now, like you said, the only other thing I see is that in August, your TV channel changes on its own.
Yep.
Now, was it just one time in August, or did it happen more than once?
Only once. It changed. The TV channel will change in March and August of that year. And how that works is me and Tina we eat dinner and leave the TV on. It's like a few feet away. So we're not even close to the remote control. And as we're eating dinner and talking, I can have it on the news or whatever, or Tina can have it on one of her shows. And all of a sudden the TV just starts changing channels.
Yes.
And you look because, the TV's changing channels. So you look like, am I sitting on a remote? Do you have the remote? Do you have it? And it's funny in the sense of, I don't have it. You have it. So we get up and walk toward the couch or love seat. And there's a remote sitting there, but the TVs are changing. I mean, I don't mean one channel or two. I mean a lot of channels. It's like, going through 12 to 20 odd channels. And that happened twice in 2013. Weird. I would, try to talk about it with Tina, but we were still trying to say, hey, that's weird. Let's not look a gift horse in the mouth. I'll take channels turning by themselves over a loud bang or a plant flying any day. And that's all you could do with that. But I kept a diary of it because it happened.
Now, I'm going to go see here. Okay, so now I'm at January 2014,
Ah.
and this year is really starting to pick up. Something major happens that day, and you even have your x-ray here. You fell down the stairs on January 2nd, literally the day after New Year's Day. Let's talk about the circumstances of how you fell and when you tell the story. If you felt a presence by you, like literally right by you, or did you feel any push or anything like that? Please incorporate that into the story.
Yeah, so I'm in my office January 2nd, and I was coming downstairs to get a glass of water. And the stairs are sort of like two-tiered or whatever. They spiral. And I was coming down. I got to the mid-level or the mid-landing, and that was it. I bit the dust. I don't remember being pushed. I didn't feel a presence. This is January 2nd, the day after New Year's. It's evening time, maybe 6 p.m., 7 p.m. All I know is it was over before it ended. I landed on my back. I was like a pretzel. I screamed out to Tina. And about an hour later, the EMT and the fire department showed up. And I get to the ER, and they say, yeah, you got a torn patella tendon in your right knee.
And you needed a surgery.
Yeah, it requires surgery to reattach. And as you can see, I got the little EMT icon above January. And as you can see, February and March, I'm homebound.
Yes.
And by homebound, I'm meaning I'm restricted. I've just had surgery. Tina still has to keep her day job, so she's not in the house during the day. It's just me in the house. I'm restricted to the upstairs.
Cane or anything to get to the bathroom or anything, any walking device?
Two crutches.
Gotcha. Okay, so you are essentially crippled in that sense, where you can't just get up and run if you needed to.
Yeah, exactly. Gotcha. And if you notice, there are interesting things starting to happen as a result of me being home. I'm hearing footsteps again.
Yes.
I'm hearing.
I also see witness during active investigation now. So people were involved. It's because the red arrow is pointing right to footsteps.
Well, that's a good question. I was about to say, for whoever downloads this report, anytime you see a red arrow and a red box, that means Steve and Dawn witnessed that phenomenon when they came in 2016.
And for those people who don't know who they are, that's the UK paranormal group.
Right. So Steve and Dawn came in January and April 2016. They lived in the house. They were able to substantiate, there are phantom footsteps going on. So every red arrow means because they were themselves witness to similar phenomena. For me, being home during the day in the master bedroom, I'm hearing footsteps. I got an uneasy feeling. Feels like I'm being watched. Night terrors, nightmares. And as you can see, this is for February and March. But you see in March, the dresser drawer armoire, that's the armoire, gets thrown in the hallway in the middle of the night.
Yes, I do see that. And that would be one of the scariest things. Now, another thing I wanted to ask you about is the uneasy feeling and, of course, bad presence. And because you have uneasy feeling in the same box as Bible still missing, I'm assuming, and this is obviously right before your dresser drawer gets thrown in the hallway. Let's talk about that uneasy feeling. Was it that somebody was there, or you were starting to feel fear, or was it that you were starting to feel that, hey, this ghost is targeting me now?
You start feeling like somebody is there. You start feeling like you're being watched, and I detail this very in my book in several chapters of we've all had our personal space invaded. You ever have, you're talking to somebody, or you're at your desk and somebody, you feel kind of uneasy. You're like, hey man, back up just a little bit. Now imagine that times 10 when you're sleeping on your back and you're turning over, you're tossing and turning, and all of a sudden you feel your personal space being invaded, but you're in bed. Tina's to the right of me. To the left of me is just the edge of the bed. Something is on the edge of the bed looking dead at me.
Wait, okay, so let's back this up for a second. What did it look like that it was looking at you?
No, you don't see it. You feel it.
You feel, okay, and so you got
feel
that easy feeling that something is looking at you, and you could feel that it's on the bed.
Yeah, you feel it's on the bed. You feel a heaviness, a change in environment, and a dense feeling. You feel
What about a change of weather? Did you notice it was more cold, maybe, or maybe a little bit of gust of wind when this?
Not in the room, not in the immediate proximity. The only thing I liken it to is it's like the room got smaller.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like the room suddenly got smaller. And let me tell you, if you ever been out in the wild in the forest, and just lollygagging or whatever, and all of a sudden the forest goes quiet.
Yeah.
You know that feeling, and you're like, wait a minute.
What's wrong?
I don't hear any birds anymore. I don't hear nature anymore.
Yeah.
And that you suddenly realize you're not the top of the food chain anymore.
Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right. That's exactly the feeling that I was starting to feel.
And that's what you feel in your. Me and Tina, me especially, I'm no longer at the top of the food chain at this very moment. And if I don't play my cards right, meaning my next reaction is going to tell it all. And this, I'll say this now: when the activity erupts later in 2014, that same moment where I woke up and had a feeling of being watched and my personal space invaded. One morning, it was late at night, I woke up because of this. I turned toward the direction of the edge of the bed, turned my back toward Tina, and I'm looking at the lampstand. The minute my eyes make contact with the lampstand, because I'm feeling heaviness, I'm feeling like we're being watched, me especially, that lampstand goes flying across the room.
Okay, now is this still in February or this is March now or further?
We're February and March. Well, talking about the lamp?
Yes.
No, that's further in the year.
Okay.
That's yeah.
Now,
I don't think ahead because we're already talking about it.
Yeah, no, I agreed. I just want to go through a couple more details as I go through this month by month. Okay, items that you don't own start to appear. So, for instance, in one of the photographs that comes later on in the report is that spider. Is that one of the items you're talking about?
Yep, we had a lot of toy spiders that just appeared. I mean,
and clearly that's nothing you or Tina own. It wasn't Halloween.
It wasn't Halloween. It wasn't nothing. And it's weird. You will find them in the sink. You find them on the counter. You find them by the toaster. Just in weird places. By your car keys. When the activity starts getting just crazy, when we get into the red, you come home and all your Bibles and crosses are turned upside down. They put spiders over all of it. It's like toy spiders over all your religious paraphernalia. It's weird.
Well, that's actually really scary because obviously you could see that this entity is not happy that you're having these religious materials, especially the Bibles. Now, I also notice here your car keys have been missing for the longest time. Is this your spare keys that are still missing?
Yeah, these are the ones that that went missing on May 1st, 2012. Yeah.
So it's been almost 2 years. In March, I mean, two short months, and even I see further along they're still missing. Now, what about your other set? Is that still missing? Is that go missing at all, or no, they left that one alone with you?
Well, the one I use every day, they have not taken yet. The one right here have always been my extra set, the ones I have in the glove box.
Gotcha. Now, I also see night terrors in February. Can you tell me a little bit about those?
Yeah, those are the dreams that I have, and I'm mending. I'm on the men's upstairs in the bedroom. I'm sleeping, and all of a sudden, these dreams that I'm having are night terrors of where you wake up. They're like panic attacks. Thousands of arms reaching for you in your sleep. Thousands of hands. Growls, shadows.
Wow.
ugly stuff. And
yeah, it's almost like you were visiting hell. A lot of people who have had a near-death experience where they end up on the wrong side of the wrong plane. This is very detailed. People talk about growls. They say like all these hands of different people are touching them in very angry ways. The description you gave me, if I had not heard anything up until the sentence, I would have thought you were describing an NDE when you were down there.
Yeah, these night terrors that I'm having, super real, very dark. They're chasing you, they're pulling at you, they're gnawing at you. Mm-hmm. And they're coinciding with the footsteps that I hear. They're coinciding. I didn't put it in this report, but at this time, I started experiencing the bed indentations, meaning the paw prints of something in the bed with me, making it like a cat, like an invisible cat on the bed.
Now, okay, so now we've gone through the dresser drawer getting thrown at you in the hallway with the loud bangs, more objects being thrown. Before we jump to April, I see that you finally started calling local churches. And
yeah.
I remember from Monday what you said, some of the reactions were, which is very sad. But for those people who are hearing me for the first time, because it's a weekend and it's far different time slot, tell them what they told you.
The churches?
Yes.
Well, yeah, at this time in April, we're calling because, as you can see, and this is important, if you look at March and you look at April, notice the jump in the colorations. Notice how we go from yellow to dark red.
Yes.
And what people, and this is important in poltergeist-related phenomena, especially when it comes back worse than before. Basically, the dresser armoire was the introduction. There was no precursor. There was no plant, no loud bang. It's just one night we hear a dresser drawer. Next night, we're in April. It's rock and roll time.
Yeah.
So we start calling churches, and you get bounced around. Certain churches deal with this. Certain churches deal with that. Some came in to bless the home. That didn't work. Obviously, we're a little bit unnervy. So we start contacting the Seattle Catholic Church, and they give us to run around. Tina's calling them. I'm calling them. Our friends who belong to the Catholic Church are calling them on our behalf. And finally, they refer us to the Bothell one, which is where we live. And it was interesting. They said our Bothell priest, he's the one that manages or oversees anything paranormal related. They didn't use the word paranormal. They just use a negative or evil spirit or demon. So they said, contact that department, and he'll assist you. So we contact him, and we leave voicemail after voicemail. And keep in mind, when we call them, we're telling them, hey, this just happened. We just had a Bible catch fire. The Bible that went missing in 2012, almost 2 years ago. Well, it's back, but it's back on fire. Ghost scene in living room, house attack. The light fixtures explode in the hallway. Keep in mind, we're sending them pictures of everything we're telling them, and we're just getting the runaround, the constant runaround. Paranormal teams are saying, what you're reporting just sounds too good to be true. Can you give us
unbelievable?
Can you give us some video of this Bible burning? Can you give us some videos of your armoire being thrown? Can you put cameras around the house? How do you know it's not a home invader or a prankster? So we're buying cameras and trying to say, okay, I guess we got to prove our story is real, while at the same time, the spirits are reconfiguring the cameras. They're unplugging them. They're throwing them. They're stealing them. They're breaking them. And we go buy more cameras. Tina's still calling the priest, mind you. She's still calling the priest.
Still getting the runaround too, right?
Still getting the runaround, leaving voicemail. And, oh, he's not in today. Oh, he got your message, but he forgot. Oh, he's going to call you. Oh, he's out of town. Or he's da-da-da-da-da. Finally, on May, when we had the office fire, you see that, we had enough. We went to sit in their office until he would see us. I think we stayed in there 5 to 6, maybe 7 hours in the break room because we were not leaving till the priest saw us face to face. We had heard no too many times, and we just had the fire department, the Bothell Fire Department, come to our house. There was a fire. I couldn't get out the house. The door wouldn't open, and the fire department said they don't know what caused that poster to spontaneously burst like it did.
So I see this as we're in April. The first Bible returns on fire. Car keys missing. Ghost seen in living room. Tell us what ghost that you saw that day.
Yeah, so this video is on my YouTube channel. This is one of the early videos, one of the second, maybe the fourth video, if you go in the time sequence on YouTube.
And for everybody out there to find Keith's channel, it's Keith space L. Just search it. I found it with no problems, and believe me, be surprised, folks.
Yeah, and so as a result of buying cameras, what people advised us to do, I bought motion detection cameras and put them throughout the house, and got lucky. One of the motion cameras in the kitchen that runs 24/7 picked up an apparition on camera in the living room.
What did this apparition look like?
The woman. It was a woman. It was a woman.
It was the white woman, the same woman, but in more gray.
It's gray woman. Gray woman.
Okay, but was her face the same as the white woman the first time?
It was just a silhouette, and the infrared motion camera just picked up her silhouette. She manifested in the living room. I think she hung around for like 4 seconds and then dissipated instantly. It's a phenomenal video. The video on YouTube is about 5 minutes long.
I know. I've seen lots of them, but I haven't seen that one because I was just... You have, what, 600, 400 some videos on there?
Yeah, I think I'm up to 600 now.
Yeah. Now, this woman, she manifested for 4 seconds. Was she moving? I will watch it after. I just don't want to close this report because obviously...
Yeah, I'll find it to you and send it. No, she does manifest.
I'll definitely find it by seeing your YouTube channel after. What I'm saying is I don't want to ruin this report, but just for the listeners out there to get a description and for me. So she manifests. She's there for 4 seconds. Is she moving? Is her hair flowing?
No, she just manifests and vamp, she's gone. It was just like a, you know, the movie, what was that? Oh, man, I was watching it today. The Star Trek, you know how they beam up and beam down?
Yes.
I'm talking about the old one of the 60s, how they, like that. That's how she does on the video, and then she's gone.
Wow. Okay, now here's a couple other things that would scare the crap out of me. So you had the fire. Another alarm goes off. Another fire alarm goes off. And that's
the office fire. Yeah, that's the office fire. Yeah.
Okay. So now house attack. What do you mean by that? I'm assuming your whole house was having problems, but...
Yeah, the house attack, we're now turning or getting to the darker activity because now we're coming home and it looks like a Category 5 hurricane has blown through the living room, my office, and then the master bedroom because everything is upside down, torn asunder. We're now getting into what Poltergeists are known for, which is considerable house property damaged, the realignment of items, the misplacement of items, kitchen cabinet doors open, wine rack, wine cabinet, the contents of it emptied, and just total mass hysteria while we're gone. We're coming home finding all this stuff. So, yeah.
I also see a few more things here. First of all, the Katy Perry incident, TV incident.
Oh, yeah.
What happened there?
Okay, so that one's, I call this the Katy Perry weekend in my book. I think it was, let's see, what month are we in? April? Yeah, so Friday. That happened in April on Friday. I'm in my office. Tina's downstairs watching TV, and all of a sudden the TV in the master bedroom comes on. And it comes on blasting music, and it's blasting Katy Perry.
Wow.
Now, the first time I hear it, I'm not thinking Katy Perry. I'm just thinking music. Like, oh, that's kind of loud. So I run out of my office. We've never had this happen before. This is a new phenomenon. So we respond like the other person must got music playing. So I run out of my office and go to the bedroom. My first question is, Tina, why are you blasting music? Of course, Tina's not in the room. Tina's right behind me. She's trying to do the same thing. Keith, why are you blasting music? I'm trying to watch TV. We go into our master bedroom, and our TV is on. Our TV is on, and it's blasting Katy Perry, okay? And we're like, that's different. That's never happened before. Okay. So we get the remote, and we turn it off. All right. Tina goes back to what she was doing. I go back to what I'm doing. 5 minutes later, blasting music again. This time, it's the same song because now we rush to the room and we're like, wait a minute.
How is that possible?
How is that possible? We just turned it off. It's the same song. Okay, then we start like, wait a minute. That's Katy Perry. Okay, what's the song saying? All right, what's the song saying? And at that time, I think it was April, at that time, Katy Perry's #1 hit or top 10 or top 20 hit was a song called The Dark Horse. I kid you, you cannot make this up. That song, if you listen to the lyrics of the part we kept hearing over and over, the second time the TV came on was, are you ready for the perfect storm? Are you ready for the perfect storm? Because once I bring it, it's on, it's on. There's no turning back. There's no turning back. Now, we're hearing this for the second time, and me and Tina's eyes are wide, mouth dropped, of this TV that we turned off one time is playing a song that should have been over already.
That's what I was going to say. MTV is not going to play back-to-back the same song, or any channel.
Yeah, any channel. Pandora, Music Channel, whatever. Okay. Also, the TV is just showing a black screen. It's not the black screen that you see when your TV is off. It's just a black screen that shows you like there's no signal coming in. But
so it sounds to me like this ghost was feeding the signal of the song through your TV.
Oh yeah, wait till you're gonna love this. It's gonna get way worse. Okay. So now I unplug the TV. I'm like, ghost, get out of my house, leave us alone. We're gonna save you. I don't want that. And I unplug the TV. I feel a little bit of accomplishment. I go back into my office. Tina goes back to what she was doing. Okay. You would think that would end it, right? You would think that would be it. 5 minutes later, song comes on again, blasting.
Oh, wow.
Katy Perry. Are you ready for the perfect storm? Da 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 da. We go into the room, and I kid you not, the TV is not plugged in.
Wow. That would have scared me bad enough to leave that night for sure.
And the reason why I'm laughing is because it's so unbelievable. Your mind is, you've made it this far in life, and you have this belief system that you held dear to all your entire life, and it's now being challenged before your very eyes. You don't know whether to run from the house or kneel right there and start worshiping the TV. You really don't know. You don't know what you're in the presence of because the TV is unplugged. Now, me, finally, I forgot what we did, but the music stopped playing. I go back into my office, and it didn't come on. It was 3 times the charm. It didn't do it a 4th time. I start Googling the lyrics because I want to hear the whole song over and over. And the lyrics, the part we kept hearing just blew me away. It sounded like a precursor or a prediction. Well, it was. That was Friday. Saturday was when we had more objects being thrown and light fixtures exploding. I don't know. We have these porcelain dome light fixtures, a kind of dome shape, and they're over. Every room has them. The porcelain is about, an inch or so thick. And I had left the house that night to go meet some friends for happy hour, and I left Tina in the house. I didn't know a storm was brewing or a storm was coming. I get to the house about an hour or so later, 2 or 3 hours later, and number one, when I pulled up to the house, Tina's car is gone, which is sort of a raised eyebrow because I'm like, Tina, she didn't tell me she was going out, but maybe she went to the store or went to see her girlfriend. Okay. I opened my front door, question answered. House is torn up.
Ouch.
Okay. Furniture is upside down. Everything is blown up. Dust, particles, plants are knocked over. The kitchen's a mess. The kitchen faucet, the water is running.
Jeez.
The dishwasher door is open, which I know when I left Tina, she was cleaning the kitchen. I pull up my phone and I start calling Tina right away. I'm like, oh, hell, something happened and I was not here. Tina got the heck out of Dodge. Is she okay? Is she okay? I go upstairs, and upstairs is worse than downstairs. The wiring behind the light, meaning behind the ceiling, are all yanked out. Glass is everywhere. Our bedroom's a mess. Office is a mess. I'm still trying to call Tina. I call her friend. She hasn't heard from her. Finally, Tina shows up 30 minutes later, shaking, crying, mad, pissed at me because I tried to reach you and your phone went to voicemail. The house blew up and da-da-da-da-da. And that was Saturday, okay? And we spent about 2 hours, maybe 3 hours cleaning up. Sunday, we woke up and house is still partially a mess, and that heaviness feeling I told you about was still there. I go downstairs and tell Tina, hey, the house doesn't feel right. Stay on your P's and Q's. We might have to get out of here. And she said, what do you mean? I'm like, something's about to go down. I can't say what it is, but something just about to go down. And it did. The double doors of our master bedroom got ripped off their hinges an hour or two later. That Sunday. And objects started being thrown to the point of that's when we got the paranormal team to finally come into the house and investigate the house. I mean, it was just that much activity from Friday up until Sunday.
Wow. Okay. Now, let me ask you about Tina. She left because of what was going on. Was she there when the place turned in another Category 5 hurricane? Or did this happen?
So Tina told me what happened. I asked Tina, like, what happened? Tina said, she said it like this. She was downstairs cleaning the kitchen, loading the dishwasher. And she heard a loud crash, like a piano crash, like a piano had fallen from a tall building. She went upstairs and she got to the hallway, and every light in the hallway, it's like 3 light domes, start flickering off and on. She got to the last one right outside my office, and she looked at it. And as soon as she looked at it, that light dome blew up.
Wow.
She said when it blew up, the only thing she did was grab her keys and
leave
out the house.
I would too. I mean, I would have done it a long time ago. I gotta hand it to you for your courage.
I hate, even now, it still bothers me to the fact of I wasn't there, because up until now, we've had house attacks when we both were there. We've had house attacks when none of us was there.
But not her alone.
We've never had house attacks except for the poster catching fire to this degree where one of us was there. And in this instance, it was Tina. This was one of the most deliberate, calculated attacks in the sense of they knew I was gone. They did some loud noises and bangs to lure Tina upstairs. And me, I've seen a lot of things with my eyes in that house. I've never seen the light fixtures explode right before my eyes. I've had my back turned and they've exploded, and I turn around, dust particles and glasses everywhere.
Wow.
Tina saw it with her own eyes explode. Now, my number one fear is, thank God you didn't get none in your eye.
Yeah, yeah, seriously.
And that, I mean, this could have been a horrible ending.
Did they explode as like there was an M80 in there and they were just literally dust and tiny shards, or did it kind of like crack and explode in the sense that it didn't look like something was exploding in it to cause it to break in?
No, they explode like into tiny shards. It's just poof,
boom. Yeah, like literally like you're crushing it, or like I said,
Just
like an M80 being inside or something.
Yeah, and we were picking up glass for months.
Wow.
I mean, we found glass in places I still don't know how that glass got there.
And it being that thick that makes it that much scarier, because you're not talking about a thin light bulb shattering to small pieces. You're talking about thick porcelain, which again, even if that was to fall and hit the ground, it would break into a few pieces, not all these tiny shards that would literally.
Yeah, these were shards and particle, dust, powder, crystal, and that stuff is hard to clean up, let alone vacuum up. I mean, you're gonna rip your vacuum to shreds, and it's hard to clean up. And 3 of them exploded that instance. More would be exploding in the weeks and months ahead in the other rooms, including my office. Like I said, some have exploded when my back is turned. But yeah, and that was what I call in my book, the Katy Perry weekend, because it was forecast on Friday with the 3 times the TV coming on and that loop-de-loop of those lyrics of "Are you ready for the perfect storm?" The spirits was like, "Hey, it's coming. It's coming." And the song, and like I said, the name of this, I didn't name the Katy Perry song. I didn't choose it out the whim. The name of the song is Dark Horse.
Now, a couple things that I see in May, again, they're continuing, and this is all red, by the way, for people listening, if you're following the report, which is the most severe. I see the second Bible burning in May, and when I see heavy footsteps, 2 things I have to ask you. One, how much heavier than where they were, say, from a year before? I mean, did it sound like someone is stomping? And 2, did you get the impression that it was multiple entities, not just one?
Yeah, multiple. Here's that scenario of what. Here's how I define the heavy footsteps. When we come home from work, sometimes Tina beats me home. Sometimes I beat her home. I walk through the front door. When I enter the house, Tina goes to the garage. She has a remote control. When I come through the front door, and I'm immediately in my living room, and as soon as I open up my door, I hear a whole bunch of skedaddle and scurrying of thundering foots going upstairs. I kid you not. The reason why you see that, once again, that red arrow pointed on it, heavy footsteps, once again, is because Steve and Dawn experienced that while they were there. When they put motion detect devices in the hallway, these devices were triggered, and when they responded to the trigger, the alerts going off, they literally heard the thundering footsteps going or receding deeper into the hallway. It's almost, I tell people, it's like I came home to a party.
Yeah,
Like I came like in the middle of something. I mean, I'm from a family of, I have 2 brothers and 1 sister, and a lot of times when our parents would leave, they give you chores to do and tell you need to be doing A and not B.
Not a party, yeah.
Yeah, and as soon as they leave, we go back to playing Atari video games, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they say, don't be doing this, or don't come downstairs, or don't do that. When they walk through that door, we're scurrying everywhere. We're da-da-da-da-da-da. And they caught us. Of course, that's what it feels like, except I can't see them. I can hear them because the noise they're making, and you hear the noise. It's going up the stairs, hallway, and into one of the bedrooms. Tina has come home and heard the same thing. She comes through the garage door. She hears the same thing. Steve, Mara, and Dawn have heard it. Other people have heard it, and it just blows your mind.
Now, a couple questions while we're still in May. First of all, the cameras that you were installing before this group came, that were being unplugged or removed or destroyed in some way, was the same happening to Steve's camera? And what did you say his partner was?
Dawn Phillips.
Steve and Dawn. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Dawn Phillips. Okay, so did their cameras, were they affected in any way throughout this ordeal? There's 2. Okay, gotcha.
One of Dawn. Well, one of their cameras. That was one of the things that made them realize they're not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah.
When day 2 or day 3, one of the cameras got turned around 180 degrees and sent off a motion detect email alert. And Steve and Dawn witnessed that, and they documented that.
Now, I see your house is also blessed a second time in May, just as it was in April.
Yep.
By the Catholic Church or another church priest?
Yeah.
Okay.
By then, the priest was coming over maybe every 3 weeks. He told us it's going to be a long process. There's a protocol that he uses, that the church uses for house possessions. So yeah, he agreed after we sat in his office to be a little bit more attentive. So yeah, anytime you see from this point on about the house being blessed, that's the priest.
Now, I see also the first office fire. Is this what you're telling me? The poster in your office burned up?
Yeah, that's the poster. Yeah.
Okay, now we're jumping, because now we're going to get to the real nitty-gritty. We got 50 minutes, so I want to cram, less than 50 minutes. I want to cram as much as possible because this is the first time we're going through the report. And, of course, if you're able to get anybody who was involved in this for the other interview that we were talking about, the next time you come on the regular programming, we'll obviously scrutinize the report from their point of view. You know what I mean? Of course, you need to be part of it because a lot of things happen in just your presence as opposed to theirs. Now, June, I see a third Bible burned. I mean, So this is consecutive now. First Bible on fire, April. Second Bible burn, May. And third Bible burn, June.
Yep.
Wow. And power outages I see too. Everything else is still going on. House attack, items you don't own, cameras installed again, loud bangs, heavy footsteps, objects thrown, doors slams. The power outages. Talk about those briefly.
Yeah, the power outages are sort of interesting because we would sometimes, whenever there was crazy activity, you would have power go off, and sometimes in all the rooms or sometimes in the room that the activity was happening, or sometimes the room you just left. And they were sort of like abrupt fluctuations, if you will, of off and on, now off. And that happened a lot. It was just really like a whack-a-mole with the power just constantly going off. Phone calls to the PUD electric company show no issue. Multiple trips to the house by the electric company showed no issue. It's totally unexplained, these spikes or power losses. But yeah, that did happen. Now,
jumping to July, a Bible still missing. So is this a fourth Bible that's gone and not returned now?
Yeah, this is the fourth Bible that went missing. 3 have caught fire, totally unusable, almost unrecognizable. So we're still following the advice of you got to put your religious paraphernalia out there, display it. So finally they took the fourth Bible. I think it was Tina's Bible that they took.
Now, I also see, and again, the reason why I'm skipping things, not just because I want to get to even crazier stuff, is because the other things are still happening. Car keys missing, items missing and appearing, and that's heavy footsteps, door slams, cameras installed, objects thrown. The only thing I see difference this time, and the house attack again, is the Catholic Mass.
Right. Yeah. Remember, activity. A few weeks in, he'll come and, held mass, held service, cleansing, blessings. That's what those crosses at the very top means. It means the church was involved that month in some fashion or another.
Now, August 2014, second office fire. Tell me about that one.
Computer monitors. Yeah, computer monitors caught fire.
Jeez.
Right then, me and Tina are so beat down. We're like Rocky and Rocky 2. We're just looking for the towel to just throw it in the ring.
Oh yeah.
This is like early Sunday morning, and keep in mind, me and Tina, there's a wedge forming at this time. You see how dark red these months are.
Oh yeah, that's
finger pointing at the yin yang, arguments at the yin yang. How could you at the yin yang? Coach shoulder. We're just getting beat down. It's not looking good, and we're sleeping Sunday morning, trying to sleep in, and once again the fire alarms go off in the house. This fire was way worse than the poster fire because we're talking about 2 computer monitors.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody
electrical
ever.
fire too, if they're plugged in.
Yeah, they were definitely plugged in, and I tell people, you never want to smell burnt computer monitors.
No, I couldn't even imagine that.
They don't smell good.
Yeah.
And
So.
we're trying to put the fire out. Me and Tina. You reconcile instantly because at that time we weren't even talking to each other. But you got a fire now. You got to settle your differences. So we're both fighting this fire, and we put it out the first time, and then it reignites in front of our eyes when we walk away from it. And at that point, I told myself internally, and I put this in my book, I don't think we're going to make it. I mean, we'll stay and do the good fight, me especially, but this is, because my office is a mess. The house smells like, death.
And for those people who don't know, you're in IT. You need your computers. This is your living. I mean, this is what you do when you're at work. Yeah,
these are 2 computer monitors. They're crispy, extra crispy, and they're gone. They're gone. The office is a mess. The computer desk, the keyboard's melted, mouse is gone, hard drive is gone, and we're just disheveled. I got soot in my nose. I was coughing up soot for days. And it's just ugly.
And I bet the office smelled like that burnt computer for quite some time. Even though you probably removed them after they were burnt, I'm sure that smell.
Yeah, that smell stays for quite a while. There's no smell like it. It's just electrical, motherboard, plastic, anything you can imagine. And those monitors, they just looked horrible. We looked horrible. Tina looked horrible. That was a bad. We had a lot of bad. That was a bad day. I mean,
now other stuff that's very again consistent with every other month that you're having here in the red. Car keys missing, items missing appearing, house attack again, cameras removed. That one I don't see in the other one, as opposed to July where cameras installed. So you're talking about the Steve and Don's cameras removed this time.
No, we're still at 2014. These are my cameras that are being removed. Okay. Meaning, when they remove my cameras, I'm the idiot now. I go out and buy more cameras, and they don't remove them right away. They sort of do a shot across the bow, if you will, like, hey, we're going to turn your camera around. And then I turn it back right facing. They unplug it. I plug it back in. Okay, we got to take it. And they take it.
And now you're also your TV channel changes on its channel changes on its own again, sort of like we were describing earlier. The remote's around somewhere else, and it's just flipping through 10, 20 different channels, huh?
Yeah.
Did you see what relevance, maybe what channel it ended up? Did it end up on a horror movie or something playing The Exorcist?
I never noticed anything relevant in the I guess the channels that they were combing through. Nothing stuck out to me now.
Now, I see also power outages, plural, and this time I also see your second set of car keys go missing.
Yeah, my second set, the ones I use every day, go missing now. These are the ones that I use that I had to spend $500 to buy some more because.
Yeah, that was my question: is how the heck were you able to drive? So you had to buy. I'm assuming these are the keys that are electronic Bluetooth sort of keys.
Yeah, these are the little fob. These are fob keys. You go.
Yeah.
And,
that's why they're so expensive.
Yeah, I was not happy that day.
Okay, now September, 2 car keys missing. Are these the new ones?
Yeah, these are new ones. Yeah.
Then those go missing too. So what did you have to do then? Did they ever end up reappearing, or did they?
No, keys never reappear. So these are, when I say 2 car keys missing, I mean the ones from May 2012. And the ones now that I use every day, those are 2 car keys. Everything that goes missing or everything that happens becomes a baseline in the house. Wow. Until it's returned or reappears, I think the spirits are using whatever energy they have to withhold these items from me. So I want, because somebody may ask me 10 years later, hey, did those car keys ever reappear? No, none of the car keys that were taken never reappeared. As, like I said, the Bible never reappeared, other items that were taken. We always got stuff that didn't belong to us. I don't know where this stuff came from, but it's not ours. Those reappeared, spiders and other stuff.
That's
but
weird.
Stuff that they took from us, no, I can't think of one thing that they took from me that they gave back.
Jeez, scary. Now I see the Bumps team finally visits in September of 2014, right?
Yeah, that's a local paranormal team.
Okay. Now, October, Cross caught on fire. I mean, you have Bibles burning, and
That's
now
Halloween.
Your Cross.
Yeah, that's Halloween. We're talking Halloween now. With the
the night, 31st to the 1st.
Yeah, correct. Yep.
Okay. Now, I'm instead of going down this list, I'm going to just let you describe this night in whole again for people. And I know what you're going to say, but I think it's better for you to say it.
Yeah, so I mean, this is once again Halloween night, and keep in mind everything on this activity sheet for October has happened or has been happening for quite some time. I think it was October that Halloween night. Me and Tina just said we're not going to be home. We deserve some shore leave. Our friends have invited us out. Let's just go do some stuff, and we do. And we come back home. Which is now November 1st, Halloween nights, that morning, about 1 or 2 a.m. And the house has once again been attacked. Everything's mass hysteria, destroyed, broken, thrown. And all the religious items have been turned upside down, meaning the crosses and the Bibles. You see the toy spider that's been put on the Bibles, not our toy spider. We had a wooden cross that we hung in the living room wall. It's a wooden cross. I forgot where I bought it.
Large or what size?
Yeah, fairly large. Yeah, it was large. About
With
36.
Jesus on it, or just the cross?
Just wooden. Just wooden.
Okay.
It's burnt.
Jeez.
It's left a cross burnt mark inside the wall. The kitchen is a mess. We got water puddles. There's a lot of water puddles on the kitchen. I've never seen that before, but I know that's a Poltergeist-related phenomena that's happened in other cases. I get up into my office, and I got wall writings. We've had wall writings before, but these wall writings are way different than previous wall writings. This is the first time we have hall wall writings. There's a little mark. It looks like the spirits were about to start writing on the hallway, but we interrupted because there's an unfinished design or pattern that's not complete, but it's the same substance that came from the office. Also, 2 days before Halloween, Como News came to the house to do a story on the house. That's how our story went national at that point, is when Como News came in and said that we are friends with, or the reporter, knew Dave Schrader, a.k.a. Dave Schrader knows Zach Baggins and Ghost Adventures. So that's how they got pulled in, or caught wind, I should say, of the Bothell Hell House.
Now, I also see here that the ghost came back, the matted white lady.
Yeah, so this is when I saw the white lady one weekend. Tina was outside vacuuming her van, her truck, and I'm in my office. Now, the interesting thing about the white lady this time is the more she's white. And by white, I mean she's all white. She's not translucent. She's not shining or anything. But it's the same lady, okay? But before I saw her, I heard her. And what I mean by that is I'm in my office typing away, and I start hearing rustling sound, like paper rustling, or somebody walking through a bunch of leaves in the park. And I'm hearing this noise for a while, and I know where Tina is because I can hear her vacuuming in the driveway because my office window is open and my office faces the street. But now I'm hearing something coming from the hallway, and it's coming toward me. It's coming toward the direction of me. So I now wheel back in my chair and turn toward the doorway because this noise is coming toward me. I don't know what it is, but I just like, okay, what is this? And sure enough, the white lady comes strolling by. We don't make eye contact this time. She's going into the room to the right of me, the guest bedroom. but she gets to cross my doorway to do it. She's holding something, but I can't make it out because she's all white. I can't see where she ends or begins or whatever she's holding. But it played like a movie. I tell people that compared to the gray lady turning off my lights and turning off running and us making eye contact and all that, this was more like me watching a movie. And but it was the same woman, meaning that it looked the same. And then once she got into the guest bedroom, the noise stopped and she was gone.
Now, November, and because I'm trying to get as much in the next 25 minutes as possible, so for everybody listening, again, you'll be able to hear more of Keith. Believe me, we're not done. And also, if you're able to follow the report, you'll see I'm not going to go on with the things that are consistent every month because they're happening every month. So I'm going to stick to the stuff that is different now. I see here in November that you have another ghost seen in hallway. How is this different compared to the white lady who was like leaves rustling and crossed you?
Yeah, so now we're getting into the targeting months because at this phase, I regrettably have to say, me and Tina are not even hardly talking to each other now. We've emotionally broken up. We just now share the same house. So now they're starting to target me. It's coming pretty close, and we'll get to December. Interesting enough, my birthday month of this total isolation. The wedge between me and Tina is huge. I'm now seeing the gray lady downstairs. Now, the day I saw her downstairs, and I think Steve got a picture of it further down, because I did a sketch of what I saw. I'm working from home or working on my laptop that night. It's just too dangerous to be in my office now. I hardly even go in there. And that office just really needs to be boarded up. So I'm just working now downstairs where I can sort of see everything. And I'm working, typing away. And once again, like you're in a forest and you feel nature stops. I get a feeling that I'm being watched, okay? I get a feel like something's looking at me. And something was literally looking at me because I raise up and I look up towards the direction of the stairway. And midway up the stairway on the wall, there's a head peeping around the wall, and it's this gray lady, and her eyes are wide, and she's looking dead at me.
Wow.
It looked like she had been looking at me for a while. Now, once we make eye contact, she darts her head back up and starts running back upstairs. And I kid you not, you hear the pitter-patter all the way upstairs, going upstairs. You hear the pitter-patter in the hallway, and this is a 2-story house. Where I'm sitting is the kitchen table. Above my head is the master bedroom and the master bathroom. Mm-hmm. I hear the pitter-patter go up the stairs, through the hallway, through our master bedroom, to our master bathroom, and that's where it stops.
I also see something very scary. Die Keith L. written on snow Thanksgiving Day. Yeah,
so now, on Thanksgiving Day, it snowed in Bothell or whatever. And Tina's older son, he's about 21 years old, he lives elsewhere, paid us a visit. And we had Thanksgiving dinner, and we're just trying to make light of a situation. And him and his girlfriend, her son and the girlfriend leaves. 5 minutes, he knocks on the door 5 minutes later and says, hey, you got some weird writing on your lawn. And I come outside, and sure enough, there's some writing on the snow right in front of our house. I say die KL here because this is past tense, but I did not know what it said. It was so broken up by the snow and the melting and the slush, I couldn't make out what it was saying. Then when we get into December, I find out what it was saying.
How?
Well, in December, as you can see on the report,
written on office wall, hallway, and snow again.
Yeah, you see in all red. Take everything we've talked about all night, talking about 2012, 2014, and multiply it by 100. That's what December is.
And I see you have your birthday party, and a lot happened there. Let's go through what happened with your birthday party. So is this December 15th, or when's your birthday?
Yeah, December 15th. So the
Another
whole
fellow Sagittarius, right?
Yep, Sagittarius here. Yeah.
Both of us. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So let's start from the beginning of the night of your birthday party.
Well, so the morning after the birthday party, I mean the birthday party itself, everybody, we had friends over, and it was kind of crazy. Wi-Fi couldn't work, Bluetooth can work for anybody. DJ was frustrated. But the morning after, me and Tina are cleaning up from the birthday party, and that's when I had beer bottles being thrown at me.
Jeez.
About two of them. No, I was in my office. Tina was in the bedroom, and then I was in my office, and beer bottles from the night before, Pacifico to be precise. Friends like Pacifico beer. But yeah, these beer bottles were being thrown. And what's interesting is some of them got lodged in the walls. I got photos and videos of those where the bottles got lodged into the walls. They got into the sheetrock or whatever.
Which means they're thrown severely. And that's got to take force.
Oh, they're blurs when they zoom by you. They're blurs when they zoom by you. Power outages, door slams that day, the day after my birthday. Lights going off and on. Wallet went missing. Your birthday time is normally the time you go. That in the morning I was supposed to go to the DMV to get a new license and whatnot, but woke up, my wallet was gone. It was a severe office attack when I came back from the DMV and the bank to get new credit cards and new bank cards. That's when I had the new wall writings. That's when the die KL. I came home about 2 p.m. that day, and you see in the photo, I think somewhere in this report, but I think you see in the photos, they wrote die KL. And that's what made me go back to November, because I remembered that snow there, and then we had die KL written again in and around Christmas time, and there was a lot more snow on the ground, so I could make it out. And also, I don't think I put it on here, but I should have. They wrote die KL inside my car.
Wow, is that what you're talking about, the car incident here?
That might be. Where is it? I'm looking for that.
It's under December at, let's see here. Weird car phenomena, right above die KL is written on office wall hallway.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's freaky. That is very freaky. Now, I see January 2015, the first half, the box is yellow. Did it subside a little bit after your...
Yeah, believe it or not, it's now going to be less physical, but definitely still mental, because we're getting lighter activity, thank God. Another Bible does go missing. We're still dealing with pacing. And everything that's transpired, like items missing, heavy footsteps. So yeah, all the violent stuff has definitely subsided. But immediately comes February, and what do you see there being followed?
Yeah, you're being followed, and that continues on every single month till literally June of that year. So 6 months or 5 months you're being followed, or 4 months: March, April, May, June. And June, every single month I see you're followed.
Yeah, by followed, I mean I've had, I told you last week about the hotel stays where I've been attacked in a hotel. I think I might have mentioned to where there have been moments where I've gone to my car after dinner in downtown Seattle with friends and found all my car doors open.
Yes.
I've gotten emails at work where they say, hey, there's a car, Hyundai Sonata, that's blowing or beeping horns like crazy, or car doors are open. You might want to look into that. More car writings when I'm not at the house. You're really going to love this one. This one happened. I took my clothes to the cleaners one day, maybe 12 shirts. And these people, I've been taking my clothes to the cleaners for about 2 years now. So they know me. We know each other. The next day I go back to pick my clothes up. Normally it's just the wife that greets me. But when I walk in today, the wife sees me and instead of a smile like she always greets me with, she has sort of a look of concern. And she motions for her husband to come up to the counter with her. And he comes up, and she pulls my clothes from under the counter and puts them on by the register, and they're like all in a heap. They're in a bundle. And she starts pulling them one by one and says, they're shredded. They're like shredded.
What?
They're like shredded like confetti. And she says, we don't know. You brought your clothes to us, and they were already shredded. We didn't dry clean them, but they're shredded. It look like they've been through a I don't know what, paper shredder.
Jeez.
And I knew. I just said, I thanked them kindly. Sorry I wasted their time. I scooped with my clothes and got out of there. And
For good reason.
For good reason. And those, you're talking about 12 shirts. Those are nice shirts too. And they were destroyed. Another day, this happened twice. I was getting ready for work. Tina had already left. And I like button down. I'm a button down guy myself. And I was putting on a button down, and I was coming downstairs. I grabbed my laptop. I'm about to punch in the code to turn on the security to secure the home. I get to the front door, and my shirt flies open.
Ripped. For your buttons just torn off too?
No, the buttons are not
intact.
torn off. The buttons are gone. No, the buttons are gone. There's no buttons that got ripped off. No buttons go flying. Like if you and me or somebody got in a scuffle, buttons go flying and stuff. No, the buttons are gone. To my knowledge,
Just disappeared.
It just disappeared. It's like you put on a shirt with no buttons.
Wow.
And that happened twice. In between both times, I've actually ironed my shirts and laid them on the bed to go take a shower. And when I come back, my shirt's not on the bed anymore. It's hanging upside down or hanging or nailed to a wall. It's got 3 or 4 nails in.
Nailed to a wall?
Nailed to a wall.
Wow.
Nailed to a wall.
Did you hear any noises as they were being nailed to the wall?
No,
any booms?
No. And the wall is always, it's in the same room. It's the wall in the master bedroom. No hammering, no booms, no tot, putting nails in. They're just hanging. They're just hanging on the wall with nails holding them up.
Now, I see something sad happens in March because of all the drama that's happening in the house and the strain that it's had with you and Tina, that you guys break up because of this, right?
Yeah, we break up, I think, a few days after the Ghost Adventures episode aired. That was early March, I think March 5th, matter of fact. Tina moves out the house, official breakup, yeah.
Now, one thing I did skip in February, and forgive me for trying to rush it, I just want to get more time and spend time on what's still happening. I do see friends are attacked in a hotel. Can you tell us about that?
That should be me attacked in a hotel. Friends
Okay.
was attacked when I was attacked in February while staying in a hotel. Tina had invited her best friend over to the Bothell house. Normally Tina stays with her friend. She don't stay in the house when I'm gone. This time she wanted to have her friend stay, and they stayed, but they were both attacked in the house. At the same time, I was being attacked in the hotel in Spokane.
Now, the rest of 2015, again, items missing, heavy footsteps. I see the last month that says being followed is June, but then July through October, I see phase 2 reclaim begins. Tell us about that.
So you're in July, phase 2. Okay, so that in July is when a paranormal team led by Nikki Novell, after seeing the Demons in Seattle episode, reached out to me to say, we would like to, we think there's some legitimacy in your story. We think you got a bad rep on that by that episode. We would like to just home monitor you remotely 24 by 7 or 24 by 5. So, yeah, that's phase 2, meaning a major investigation is about to go underway. You can see, because it's in blue, how many months that was. And it's sort of like a big brother. All they did was monitor me with cameras because the goal was if they saw enough from remotely monitoring me, this is going to give rise for them to come live in the house. And they did. They came to live in the house as well.
Now, I also see you had an exorcism in July, and obviously it didn't work.
Yeah, this is Father Roy. This is not the Bothell priest. By then, a friend, once again, after seeing the episode, a co-worker, whose father was I think a Pentecostal priest, contacted me, and he lived in Auburn, Washington, and he said he's done poltergeist infestations and demonic infestations in homes before, and he has a shaman who they both sort of work well together. Upon learning of my ordeal in the case, I mean, they studied the case about a couple of weeks, a couple of months before they got to actually do the exorcism. But yeah, Father Roy did conduct the exorcism. That video, it's about a 4-hour video on my YouTube channel, and there's voices all over it. There's the spirits are talking throughout the exorcism ceremony.
Now, I see 2016 is not in here as far as the month to month as you had for everything else. Did things start to subside or no?
No, at this time around 2015, of December, I'm in contact with the scientific establishment of parapsychology. That's why you see SCP questioning. I just stopped keeping records.
Gotcha. Now, as I continue to scroll down, that's when I see all the evidence that I was talking to you before. The x-ray of your knee, the spider found, the burnt Bible, the flower pots being thrown, 3 of them in those pictures right there. And it just goes on and on. Your kitchen area, kitchen cupboards and drawer found open. The pantry door also found open on occasion. Cooker, oven, and fridge doors were often closed. This photo shows 15 drawers open. That's one of them. Again, now, dining room, chair moved. Chairs found moved. A chair found on top of counter. Jeez, I'm looking at that picture. Bottles of wine found to have been moved. What else here? Pottery found smashed on the floor. Chair found to have been knocked over. More items found to have been thrown around. This ghost is relentless. Large cupboard was found pulled over. Unit found pulled over. That looks like your stereos or your set. I mean, that is just knocked over and destroyed. Again, your office completely trashed when you're talking about your office attacks. This is really, really scary. Table tipped over and items found on the floor. Office chair, monitor moved. Now, again, for people listening, please check out this report. Like I said, I tweeted it. Katie has posted it in the chat. And again, please check out Keith's channel. So now I'm just going to put the report away since we got 15 minutes left. And I want to talk to you about what happened without going to the report more in the rest of 2016 until you left, and then what's happening to this day in 2018 as we hit November.
So in 2016, January, Steve and Dawn arrived first to the house, the guys from the UK, after 4 months of vetting. And there was a lot of interviews, psychological evaluations and whatnot. So they came in January, and it was always agreed early on that they would live in the house. And the first time they came, they stayed for a week. And they found evidence. They have a methodology based on 3 years of investigating poltergeist-related phenomena that they use to obtain evidence. Stephen Dawn's words, not mine, is this is an investigation or a house like no other. I think the topics tonight and the evidence and what you've just seen sort of supports that. The first visit they got, they captured over 436 voices, strong EVPs. Each individual has his or her own channel on YouTube, being in the UK and the US teams. Steve has done multiple lectures on the house. But then Nikki and her team come right after they made their first investigation, and they stay pretty much a month in the house. So January and February, you're talking about maybe 6 weeks of the house being continuously lived in by people other than me. And they got massive evidence. The U.S. team did. But I knew once I got some sort of credibility restored that it was time to move. I knew I was not going to be going beyond 4 years. 4 years is enough. I still pinch myself every day asking, how in the world did we walk out of that house? We should have been carried out. But I said, come May, I'm out of here. When I said that back in March and April, the activity started showing signs of resurfacing. So
When you said you were about to leave, you're saying?
Yeah, when I had a mental thought of saying, "Hey, May, I'm out of here in May. May is it. I'm gonna make my intentions known to the landlord. He's authorized all these investigations. He knows his house is crazy. We've proven it. Recommendation from me personally, just bulldoze it. That's my recommendation. Recommendation from the paranormal groups is leave it vacant for as long as you can. Then bulldoze it. But I told him I was moving out, but the activity started showing signs of escalating. So I contacted Steve and Dawn. I'm like, hey, if y'all want to have another swing at this, because we got new wall stuff. We got the invisible wall stuff coming down on the living room wall now, and they came back. Lo and behold, when they took their first findings back to the UK and their colleagues were just blown away, they attracted more attention from their peers, and they brought in Nick Kyle. Nick Kyle is the president of the SSPR, the Scotland version of UK's SPR. And they stayed, I think, 8 days that time and got more evidence the second time. And so that's what you see in this report is the combination of both visits that they got. And then I moved in May, and the biggest worry was, am I going to be followed? Are the spirits going to follow me? Which was pretty much a drawn conclusion already based on the hotel stuff.
And they obviously were. They still are. But you also said last time that they're not attacking you the way they were. Are you still? You're not coming back to your house or anywhere you travel to and find markings or any more things written? Keith died, Keith KL, things like that, right?
No, the only things I'm experiencing now that I've experienced in the Bothell home is the stuff that happens to me when I go to sleep. The poking and prodding, the pulsating and the heartbeats coming from underneath the mattress surface. Occasionally there'll be electrical issues. Occasionally there'll be a little bit of what is called asporting or aporting. There have been times in my new apartment where I've taken all my clothes out the dryer and throw them on my bed, and by the time I'm ready to go fold them, they're not there. They're back in the dryer. That's happened a few times. I think I told you about the water puddle incident.
Yes.
Weird battery drainage on electrical devices in the home, and the seatbelt light coming on in my car a lot. Hasn't happened in a while, but there have been moments where the passenger seatbelt light comes on. It's just me in the car, indicating that
someone's there with you.
Someone's there with me. Just totally melts your brain when that happens. Yeah.
Oh, I would think so. Here's what really boggles me, Keith. You're a Christian. You're a hardworking man. You're a moral man. You don't mess with the occult. And when I was speaking to Father Jack Ashcraft, he was saying that for the most part, that if someone's purely innocent, that something like this wouldn't happen. Usually you would have to be that was one of the questions I asked him. I said, if he's ever come across a case where a pure innocent child that really doesn't even understand consciousness would be in a position to be possessed or have any demonic influence. And he said no, because they're not at the age of accountability. And once they get to the age of accountability, if they start doing stuff that would draw the demons, then that would explain it. And he also went ahead to talk about the 3 different kinds of demonic influence: oppression, obsession, and then the most severe kind is possession. So I'm still wondering why the heck this ghost chose to harass the heck out of you and still is doing so when you're not messing with the Ouija board, you're not sitting there doing any magic rituals or anything like that. And it just blows my mind why it targeted you. And let me ask you this briefly, because I guess we sort of did bypass this. You ended up doing some research, and if you could tell me at 1 month it was that you finally realized that this was happening before to the tenants that lived there before you.
Yeah, so in the summer of 2014, we occasionally would get letters from previous tenants who lived in the home. You get a letter, it's not me and Tina's. It's obviously must be somebody who lived in the house before us. This letter I Googled on Facebook and was able to contact one of the previous tenants who lived in the house 5 years before me and Tina. I talked to the wife/mom, and she told me they were there for a year and the house was a living hell. She described the activity they was having was similar to the activity we were having in 2012. Items missing, TV turned off and on all the time, phantom footsteps, kitchen cabinet doors opening, and a presence. They had a live-in nanny who one day when the parents were out of town experienced the kitchen cabinet doors opening. She took the kids and drove them out, and they drove to Yakima, which is 500 miles from the house. But she told me in basic terms that the house was a living hell. But the thing that she told me that stuck out the most was, she said her son, who at the time was, I don't know how old he was, but he was very young, saw shadowy figures. He saw them out the corner of his eye. His bedroom was my office. And he still sees them today.
Wow.
Okay? He still sees them today. Now, I can't tell you, I've seen the shadowy figures in the house. I've seen them. And I've seen them a few times in this apartment that I'm sitting in right now. They look exactly the same. So when she told me that, they're 5 years removed from the house. They've not lived in the Bothell house, the one we lived in, for about 5 years now. But he still sees them. And I didn't tell her that I was seeing shadowy figures. I don't even think I was really telling Tina that I was seeing shadowy figures, because I think she'd probably just run from me. But when she told me that, I went public, meaning I went public with friends and family about me seeing shadowy figures, because now I know I'm not imagining things. I got somebody else who's a kid who has no reason to make stuff up about seeing shadowy figures. I mean, kids are going to come to you when they see something weird. And she told me they were still happening, and other things were still happening where they currently lived. She said they never really landed on 2 feet again, especially her, based on what went down in that house. I don't know if I told you Monday, but she ended up committing suicide. She's no longer.
No, I didn't know that. Really? How long after you spoke to her?
She passed away August of 2016. I approached her. Dawn and Steve were set up to interview her the second visit. She went off the grid underground. She said her family and her husband, her wife, and the children were going through turmoil again, and she went off the grid. When this report came out, because I've had this report for quite a long time, I reached out to her because I wanted to let her know that her, me, her kid, or whatever, we're not crazy. This house is just a house from hell. It's not personal. I found out by going to her Facebook page that sometime in August, I think it was August 14th or August 16th of 2016, that she walked in front of a moving train in Montana.
Oh, man.
And ended her life.
Is this, do you think, because of the turmoil that she had with these ghosts?
Not she never used the word ghost. She just said the house had a bad energy. The house was evil. She was very abstract and she just said the house was evil. It's almost like the house on the hill. She said that, I mean, she became depressed and suicidal in the home. She tried to kill herself 4 times in the home. She suffered from depression in the home. She became an alcoholic in the home. Her kid, the one who saw shadowy figures, developed one of the rarest and the weirdest form of meningitis in the home. Her husband became unemployed in the home. She became unemployed in the home, which drove her to drinking. The medical bills racked up in the home. The husband became abusive in the home, verbally and physically in the home. So all these things was just dark. So, sort of like me and Tina, except we didn't have any kids. And when they moved out, she said it felt like that dark cloud followed them. And I kind of understand what she meant by that, especially when she told me her son still sees the shadowy figures.
Now, we got a couple minutes left, so let me try to get a few things in you. Now that I told you what Grant Wilson said, that he's asked multiple ghosts and gotten the same answer. When you look at those shadow figures, which I've seen on your channel, do you now, with that, knowing that answer, does that change your perception, knowing that as you're looking at that shadow, they're seeing you as a shadow?
It wouldn't surprise me if they saw me as a shadow. I see the shadows that I see. I mean, for lack of a better word, they look like gremlins. That's how.
I know. That's what actually scared me the most, because you're not seeing a shadow of a 6-foot-tall human.
No, I don't see humanoid shadows. Neither did the previous tenant's son. We're talking about creepy crawlies. I think I just uploaded a video 2 weeks ago of a reenactment of my living room of those shadowy figures. They can go in and out of walls. They peep around corners. They do the bed indentations. They love to hover around the couch and love seat area, and they poke and prod you all the time. That's what I've seen. I've seen them I've seen them cross my path in my room or go across the doorway in the Bothell home. Those are shadow. I've not seen the shadow man or large torso of a man or anything, or a stick figure of a man walking. What I'm seeing is creepy crawlies, is what I call them. But how I look to them, that's interesting. I've never heard that put out there before, but that's interesting. I never thought how we look to them. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't.
It actually surprised me. I figured we looked to them the way we are, but I guess now it sort of makes a little more sense to me. Now, let me try to get this before you go. I do remember last time you were on, before we even went on air, I mentioned Father Jack Ashcraft, and you mentioned that he's in the book. Do you have any plans on maybe having an exorcism or anything to stop it? Or are you okay with it that's continuing? Because I couldn't be. Or what plans do you have for the future if this is still happening? Because what it sounds like, Keith, it's not subsiding.
Yeah, I told myself I'm 60% done with book 2. I truly feel that any attempt to do an exorcism now on my person or me or a cleansing would just be null and void until book 2 is done. Because keep in mind, in order for me to get book 2 done, and I tell people book 2 is way darker than book 1. It's going to blow, and book 1 is dark. You just read.
Yeah, I remember you were telling me how many chapters there are.
Book 2 is going to blow out the water. So, yeah, because you have to be done with all of it. There's no half-assing it.
Yeah.
You know? And writing the book and going back through memory lane, reconjuring up that stuff, they can tether to that, and they probably have. But once it's done, I'm wiping my hands of it, because now the information is out there in the blogosphere and internet. It's out there forever. Then we can start focusing internally on me, because I have no other story to tell unless an armoire goes flying across my living room. Knock on wood. I hope it doesn't. There's really nothing else I could tell that's not considered new material, because book 2, it's going to be all put in that one. I mean, that's it.
Now, obviously, when this happens, please let me know so we can work together on getting this exorcist. Well, we've gone a little over, so I want to thank you, of course, and please hang by for a second after so I could tell you something off air. But if you can plug in where people can buy the book, I know demonsinseattle.com is a website, and the report is posted on the website as well, right?
Yeah, the report and multiple reports are posted on the demonsinseattle.com website. That's my website. The book is easy to find. It's on Amazon, every country imaginable. The Bothell Hell House. It's on Kindle. It's on paperback. If people want an interesting story in conjunction with evidence, that book has it. It's over 5 hours of video, over 7 to 8 hours of audio. It's a 4 hour. It's a story told from beginning to end, meaning 2012 to 2006, of a couple who just pretty much came into a house totally unaware and got dealt a bad card or whatever. But yeah, on Amazon and demonsinseattle.com, you can find the book or how to get it. Yeah.
And everybody out there, please search the YouTube channel, Keith Space L, and believe me, you will find it. And do check out this report. And I would think you are probably as scared as me at this point. Now, remember, folks, this is a special Spookathon. I believe we are coming to the end of the 70-hour session of the Late Night in the Midlands Spookathon. Tomorrow, or today, should I say, 7 p.m. today, we resume our normal programming with Lon Milo Duquette, the head honcho at the Order Templi Orientis, Aleister Crowley's occult group, who he founded before he died in, believe, the 30s or maybe even earlier than that. And also remember, the only thing you need to remember about this show is the name of it, Dr. J Radio Live. That is DRJ Radio Live. So, for instance, the website, drjradiolive.com. Again, every social media is the same, at DRJ Radio Live, including Facebook, Google+, Flickr, Instagram, YouTube, Tumblr, email to Twitter, Minds, Patreon, and Buffer. That's a lot. And even Pinterest. I guess that's another one that I haven't quite added on the site. And every time something new comes out, that's the account it's going to be at. So it's pretty darn simple to follow it. Remember, folks, again, I hope you have a happy Halloween, and please pay attention to the story because it is the most documented and, to me, the scariest poltergeist/ghost case in history, and is still happening to Mr. Linder, which really scares the crap out of me. I guess with that being said, folks, enjoy the next show, and I will be back on air in literally 15 hours. So we'll catch you then, folks. With that being said, this is Dr. J. I'm wishing you all a good morning as I sign off.